Hello and welcome. If you're listening to this broadcast, I'm really happy to have you here. The title of this stream is Pivoting. Well, it's called I'm Pivoting specifically. You might be asking, from what? Perfectionism mostly. I'll tell you what, if you were watching the last stream that I did on this channel called Sunday Stream 5, you will have noticed that I put in a lot of time and effort to try and broadcast different ideas. I made a slideshow. I had pictures. I wrote things. I wrote captions on the pictures. You know what I mean? And it was a fun LARP putting together the slideshow, especially. I enjoyed that part. But that's not who I am. I'm not a slideshow person. I have that gene within me, trust me. That's how you survive corporate America, is you get really good at documenting processes and making things for people to look at and learn something from. But that's not me. Me is someone who I think my voice cracked when I said it, so I think we're on the right track. I think I've been scared of showing who I am online. Because who isn't? Honestly, it's kind of like a kamikaze mission to be authentic on the internet in times like these, you know? For those watching in the past, present, and future, I am recording this on the 11th of September, year 2022. It's shocking to think that we've made it this far. 21 plus years after the very visual collapse of this nation, we're experiencing the ripples. And boy, is it a turbulent ride or what? And the point of this show isn't to educate you on what's going on, because if you're watching this, you know what's going on. You're the expert of your realm. No one can really tell you what's up except for you. At the end of the day, we're all having a very individual experience on this collective playing game. The point of this show is to document what's going on in my realm. You know, what's my perspective on this simulation, reality, matrix, whatever you want to call it, and how does it compare to yours, and how can we potentially all work together to end up on the good side of the world split. You know what I mean? For those of you who are watching the video version of this broadcast, I am holding up 6 Moleskine journals. The hardback ones too. I will splurge on a Moleskine journal. I love the little band. I love the little bookmark that comes in each book. I love how the pages sound. I love that it looks like an actual book. And these 6 Moleskine journals represent the diaries that I have taken since 2020 started. And it's not filled with the news clippings of the day, you know? It's filled with what this process has been like from a human perspective, this unfolding. Because here's what I'm pivoting from, right? I'm pivoting from this desire to dissect the events that are unfolding on the stage in front of us, to talk about their symbology and their numerology and their etymology, to connect it to what, you know, this politician or this meme lord or this billionaire said. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, whatever it is that they're pushing to us, these stories, these breaking news events, these deaths of royal monarchs, you know, there's nothing in it for us. There's nothing in it for us. What's in it for you in your life right now is figuring out who you are, who you can work with, and how you're going to survive what's happening next. This isn't fear porn. This is an honest reckoning and an assessment that what matters most isn't what's happening now, what's next, what's going on. It's who are you and who are you in relationship with others? And how are you going to leverage that in order to live your best possible lifeline on this planet? Because it's about to get really fucking tumultuous. And if you don't know who you are and who you report to and who you're working with and what your mission is, I hope you find it. So I'm pivoting. As much as I want to talk about, actually the thing is I don't want to talk about the current events, but let's say that I did as much as I would want to. There's so much more interesting stuff happening. I was listening to Ascension Diaries today. If you don't know who that is, you should check that out. She has a channel where she basically has been documenting for several years her experience of what she's calling an ascension journey. And set up against the domino of current events that have happened between, 2017 to now, so much in our world has changed. We all know the major details, or at least we think we do. But so much more has changed within us, like within each of us. I think that everyone is coming online to an awareness of why they're here. But instead of talking about that, and instead of like comparing notes, instead of saying like, well, what was going on with you January 10th of 2020? Did you also have like oh, okay, yeah. So instead of like being conscious of the really exciting evolutionary process happening within all of us and within the consciousness, we're talking about like what the paid clowns are up to, We're talking about raids on buildings and unsealed documents and new leaders and fake thrones, like as interesting as it is as a signpost into where we are, it's not what we are and it's not who we are and it's not what we need to be focusing on, because the world that we're entering into soon is going to be a brand new one. And I want people to be prepared. So this is going to be a relatively short video. Thank you for sharing this space with me as I'm articulating it. But I'm going to be shifting my focus. I still want to show up here every week, Sunday night. I think that's important. I think that fellowship is important. I think that providing an opportunity to connect with each other is great. And I would love to build and expand upon that, because like what I said in my first couple streams, it is my goal to own a radio station one day. That would be brilliant. But I don't want to turn into some talking head, We have enough talking heads on the internet and on the TV. That's not my thing. I like to stream, but I'm not trying to like make this a production for you to like pay me to do. What I am trying to do is figure out how we operate, how I operate, how you operate. I'm looking around for my human design textbook. I can't seem to find it. But I was going to hold up my human design textbook and show you a visual example of what I mean about pivoting. I'll settle for this slideshow instead. I made a slideshow, I'll admit it. It's not like the last one. The last one was 17 slides. This is only 3. And it's little memes I made. Little PNGs I found on Google and put into a slideshow and put under the color scheme that I want with the text and all that. I made that, I'm proud of it. I'm pivoting. And it has a lot to do with my Saturn return, which with the Placidus house system, Saturn has been in my first house since January 2020. It's been like, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been over my ascendant and my Uranus and my Neptune. It's been all over my first house, my first huge house of Capricorn and Aquarius. It's been a lot. And one of the big things that my return has taught me so far is that you've got to listen to yourself and your inner authority. And that's going to look different for everybody. And that's something that I'm looking forward to articulating more on this stream, like what it is that I mean by that for me, how it applies to you, how we can navigate this changing world in the most effective way possible. Because, yeah, I get it. The last couple of years have been a shift from the before times. And the next couple of years will be an even bigger shift. And then by the end of this decade, we're going to be in a reality that we only dreamed possible in our, most inebriated stoner days in college, talking about, wow, do you think Orwellian nightmare is going to unfold, or is it going to be the Brave New World one? Wouldn't it be crazy if this happened or that happened? All of the things that we used to say, wouldn't that be crazy if, is going to happen. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing if you're prepared for it. And you're only going to be prepared for it if you know who you are and you know how to listen to what your guidance is telling you. Because that's the thing I've noticed a lot lately. Everybody's getting the signs and synchronicities, okay? Everybody is getting the signs and synchronicities. God doesn't leave anyone behind. But if you're going to ignore what you're being told, if you're going to disrespect the advice and help that you're being given, if you're not going to be grateful for all of the gifts that have been put before you to utilize, tools in this realm to make you a better person, then it's going to be a bumpy ride. You're not going to have fun. You're going to be fighting against it the whole time. You're going to be resistant, and it's not going to end well. But you're listening to this and you're not going to do that. What you're going to do is harness the power of who you are and survive this thing. Anyway, that's what this show is going to turn into, is for me, a rediscovery of astrology and human design, because astrology and human design is basically what led me to make some of the biggest, most monumental and positive shifts in my life that have ever happened. But as I was making those shifts over the past few months, I totally fell out of practice with it. I wasn't keeping a pace with my studies, basically, because I was so in the moment of these monumental shifts of relocating to a different place and appearing on the internet again and broadcasting it all. This is something that's very scary to me and a big test. It's a big, huge experiment in lots of different ways. So I haven't been practicing like I want to, but we're going to get back into that, because I think at the end of the day, regardless of the methodology you use to understand how the universe is operating and how we are operating within it, that's going to be the most important thing. Because I can tell you right now, I have zero interest in the news. Because first of all, there's no way the queen just died, okay? She's been dead. You know? I don't care. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care. It's so annoying. You know what I did this week? I deleted all of the social media off of my phone. Why did I do it? A couple of reasons. One, people from my past think that they can contact me now. And I'm like, why do you think you can contact me? You ghosted me. People who ghosted me in all different types of ways have been trying to get my attention. And I'm like, I don't owe you this anymore. I've tried. I was such a good person. And it's hard, right? Because when you're in a lifeboat and the Titanic has sunk and people are coming up to you like, oh man, shit, I should have listened to you about getting on the lifeboat and I didn't. And then they want to get on your lifeboat. It's hard to be like, no, I can't. But at this point in the game, if you don't have room on your boat to safely sustain someone else's life force, then don't risk it. I'm not taking any risks at the moment. Another reason is that I was just tired of being told what to think about every day. I got into this terrible routine of opening Twitter first thing in the morning and seeing what the trends were and clicking on them and reading memes and getting distracted. And that's not a way to start the day, or to even have that influence throughout the day is kind of disruptive, because there's other things we need to be focusing on. Where are we getting our water? Do we have enough wood for the winter? You know what I mean? Stuff like this. Stuff like, California produced half of the rice yield that they expected producing. What's going to happen there? How are we going to eat, Not, again, to scare you, but just to get you thinking. If it doesn't have a practical application, why are we spending our time thinking and talking and tweeting and chatting about it with everyone else? It doesn't matter. Cliff High said it really well in a video this week about how they want to suppress us. They want us in boxes at home, not doing anything, not being productive, not connecting and creating and doing all of the things to prepare for the future. They want to sap all of our energy so that they can do all of the things that need to happen and then put us into FEMA camps or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. The point is, I don't want to do what they want me to do. So if they want me to sit at home on the couch, not doing anything, I'm still going to stay at home, but I'm not going to be sitting on the couch. I'm going to do something. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to educate myself on realms of reality that are practically applicable to getting myself into a better situation. What does that look like? Knowing who your neighbors are, Know who your neighbors are. Find people in your community who are on a like-mind wavelength to you in your physical surroundings. If you can't find people in your physical surroundings who are on a like wavelength to you, move. And develop the spiritual practices you need to in order to connect with your inner guidance. This sounds like a lecture. It's really not. This is really just all the angst that I've been bottled up with myself too. Like, I'm talking to myself a lot right now. This whole live stream is really me talking to myself as well. Because I've been falling for the distractions. I've been falling for it in the sense that I've been letting it take up too much energy and time. When my energy and time needs to be dedicated to specific arenas. All of our energy and time, really. Like, we need to be careful with what we're doing because every step that we take has bigger impact than it used to. It's like increasingly bigger cause, action, result shit happening right now. But you're okay because you're watching this. So that means we're on like a similar vibe. We're on a similar journey. We're both trying to like become better people and figure out how to navigate this shit. So that's all I wanted to say. I made another slide though. It says I played the shot put because in my head it was really funny because I knew that I wanted to title this stream I'm Pivoting. And in my head it was really funny to make a reference to when I used to play shot put because that's like where I learned what pivoting was. If you're not familiar with the shot put, it's a track and field event. You have a giant metal ball, not really giant. It's like a baseball, but like metal. And you put it under your chin and you do like a little pivot dance. Like you have to spin in a circle basically before you can throw the ball. And you throw the ball at the end of the spin that you do. So you pivot. Lots of pivoting. And I played shot put in middle school. That was like my one sport that I did in my teenage years. I was on the track team and I only played shot put. It was really fun to go to the track meets and just do my event and then 5 minutes later just sit in the stands and be a weird kid, in America. In America before smartphones, where you could just like go to an event, you could go to a track meet and like hang out and talk to people without like the pressure of what's going on Twitter, what's going on Instagram, what's happening on YouTube, who's live streaming, all of these distractions. And that's really my personal goal in life, is to go back to a space where there aren't these intrusions all the time on my attention, where I don't feel compelled to check what's trending and where and why and da 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 da, to really hone my focus in on what's important. So that's why I say that I'm pivoting. And this show is basically going to become a diary of my experiences in that pivot. As I turn back to my woo astrology, human design, spiritual studies, as I lean way deeper into journaling because, like I said, these are 2020 to 2022. And I've got 10 blank ones that I'm looking to fill up. If you're not taking a daily journal, or at least, as often as daily journal as you can journal, I highly recommend it. And not one on the computer, because we're not going to have access to the internet in the way that we have it for that much longer. We might have a few years left, but you're going to want things in like tangible paper records, printable, holdable, concrete records of your existence. I highly recommend. And I really like Moleskine journals and Fisher space pens. So that's my recommendation. And that's really it for this week, guys. Thank you for being here, for listening to this. Thank you also to, I didn't advertise it on this stream because, like I said, I'm pivoting. I'm not trying to make this a broadcast. I'm trying to make this a connection point, an update journal, a thing that we can look at over time and say, wow, this person really understood how to operate in this world and follow their design, become who they were supposed to be, because I want to help everyone do that. But thank you to Colby Carmen Randolfo Bolivar for buying 10 coffees. I keep forgetting to do this, so here, LOL, they say, thank you. I don't know why that sounded like a hostage message, like I was telling you had to buy me coffee, but I will accept the coffee, thank you. And to everyone else, I'm sorry this is a unrehearsed, unprofessional recording, but I'm really grateful that you listened to it the whole way through. And we will see you next week when I will have a more substantial update on what this pivot looks like, how it's happening in my life. And maybe like our stars and cycles are aligning. Maybe if you're watching this, you're also having a moment where you're like, I don't give a shit what Tim Pool is talking about. Why is everyone talking? Why is no one doing anything? Can someone do something? Can someone I don't know, start a real Beartaria? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Someone needs to. So let me know. Let me know if you're pivoting in any kind of way in your life. I know I feel the energy. It might be that Mercury retrograde and the full moon that really snapped it into gear. But for me, I'm like, yeah, we're diverting focus. We're not giving more energy to this machine. We're doing something different. We're doing something that the algorithms and the controllers don't want us to do. And it's going to be for the benefit of humanity, I hope. So, cheers to the benefit of humanity. And I will see you next week.